Hi, welcome to part 1 of this bootcamp on blockchain and smart contracts. So in this part, we're going to set up a private Ethereum blockchain called BigChain. So let's get started. We're going to follow the steps outlined on this repo called BigChain. Now, the first step is to create a folder for BigChain. Now this bootcamp assumes that you already have get installed. If you don't, you can install get by saying brew install Ethereum. I've already installed it, so I'm not going to repeat that. So the next step is to create a Genesis file. So we'll say create a Genesis file here. Now in that Genesis file, we need to add the allocations. So we'll allocate the Ethereum and the gas limits in that BigChain file like this. This is a simple JSON file. So the next step is to create a data directory. So we'll create a data directory called BigGenesis, and that's our data directory created. As you can see, it's called big data dir. Then we'll create the node using that big data dir. So it's going to start up our Ethereum node, and this is our first node called BigGenesis. And obviously it's the Genesis node. Now we can observe the log of this BigGenesis log by opening a new tab, and we can run tail-f big eth.log. That's where the logging is happening, as you can tell from this log. So we'll leave the log running and we'll open a new tab, and now we'll create a peer node. So in order to create a peer node, first we need to set a account. So we'll type personal.new account in the first tab, in the first console, and we set a passphrase, which is a demo passphrase, but you can select any passphrase that you like. So this should create a new account on our BigGenesis node, and as you can tell, it now has this, and you can see from the log file that it has created a account. So now that we have our account for the first node, we'll launch our peer node, and we'll call it small Genesis. So the only difference is that we'll have a different data dir for this second node. And in order to do that, what we'll do is create a data folder called small data dir. So that's what is happening in this step here. So let me open a new tab in terminal and run that. Actually, let me just quickly check if there's already a small data dir folder. Yeah, so it doesn't seem like there is, but I'm going to create a small data dir. So that's created a small data dir now, as you can tell. And the next step is to check. Actually, we have to launch the small peer on a different port number. So we'll select 30304 as our port number for the small node, and so we run get with the data directory pointed at small data dir, and it started a node here, as you can tell from the console, and we can actually open a new tab and check the logs for the small ETH log. So while we're waiting for this to open, I can say tail-f small ETH log. Now the next step is to go to the first console and check the enode value of the first node. So if we go to our console of the first node, which is the first tab here, and I type admin.nodeinfo.enode, we get the node value or the node address, and that's the address of the first node. Now we go to the second console and we point the second node to communicate with the first node. So we go to the second tab or the fourth tab here. Actually, it's on the third tab where I have the small node running, and I can say admin.addPeer. Now I need the ID and the address for the big node, so I can just copy that value here, and I actually need the quotation marks, so let me copy the quotation marks here. So it's on here, and I add the enode value and close parentheses, and now it's added. Now if you look at the logs of this node, we can probably see the so in order to get the two nodes to communicate, we can as well check the value by looking at the peers on the second node. So if I go to this third tab and I say admin.peers, I can see that the remote address is 30303, and the same remote is the local address for the first big node, which is 30303, and the remote address is 34507, and for the small node we have remote address 30303, which is the local address of the first node. So that's it for this tutorial. We'll continue in the next part. Thanks for joining. Bye.